So I've got these potatoes boiled with the skin on and whole. If you think you're saving time by cutting them up and peeling them, you're actually damaging the starch of the potato, and it's not going to really make a great finished product. So boil them whole with the skin on. Work with them while they're still hot. But the best way to peel them is with a paring knife in one hand and a potato in the other. I would just sort of get the skin off quickly. Don't burn yourself. So once your potato is completely peeled, I'm going to use this nifty ricer here. If you don't have a ricer, don't use a masher. Go out and buy a ricer. Basically, you want to squish it in there and get it in this big receiving dish here. That's going to be big enough where I can spread the potatoes out and they can sort of cool down a little bit, because I'm going to be kneading them with my hands, and it will be very unpleasant if they're really hot. So in a minute, I'll show you how to make the gnocchi dough. After you've cooked your potatoes, you need to make your gnocchi dough. Start by mounding your rice potatoes on your work area. Make a hole in the center, much like a volcano, and add your eggs. Beat the eggs a bit and start to mix the potatoes into the eggs. Use all-purpose flour, about 1/4 cup per potato, and gently using your fingers mix everything together, keeping it all in one pile on the counter. And when it starts to come together, knead the dough by folding and pressing it in on itself. Do this until your dough is a smooth ball. Don't overdo the flour, and don't overdo the kneading. Let this ball rest for about 20 minutes so the flour can absorb the moisture from the potatoes. When your dough's done resting, cut off 3 to 4 ounce chunks, and roll them into smooth, evenly thick ropes using your palms. Cut the rope into little diamond-shaped thingies using a straight edge, like a dough cutter or a bench scraper or a spatula. Using the back of a clean fork, roll each gnocchi off of the tines to create the grooves on the outside and a little pocket on the inside. Using the side of your thumb, press the gnocchi against the fork and then gently roll it off of the fork. Place them in a floured sheet pan for them to rest again. After 20 minutes of resting, and you've boiled a pot of water, and you've made an ice bath, and both of which you've seasoned generously, you gently drop the gnocchi a few at a time, being careful not to crowd the pot into the boiling water. You'll know the gnocchi are done when they float, but don't walk away, because this happens pretty quickly. Transfer them to the ice bath to stop the cooking, and then toss them in some oil until you're ready to saute them in your sauce. Okay, so I have had my gnocchi resting here. I've used a bit of olive oil to keep them from sticking to each other, but I keep my dressing very simple. Got some butter in here that I'm browning. Next step is to add my gnocchi. I'm only going to do a little bit at a time. I don't want to crowd the pan. To this I'm adding some chopped garlic and some Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, freshly grated of course. And then a couple of leaves of rosemary. And of course some salt and pepper. Make sure you taste your gnocchi for seasoning, and once it's cooked, once it's heated through, I give it another couple of tosses, and voila, gnocchi and rosemary brown butter.